Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Today is the 11th of July 2015. My name is Rowie, and I am proud to present to you Human Colonies, Hucolo TV, our regular Saturday webinar here with Jim Charles and my fellow host, Sabrina. So I'm very excited today because it's a big webinar, it's a themed webinar, and it's going to be about DNA and hybridization and the effects and what Girk Fitneer has to offer, and in return how it all works out for them as well. So who's getting what from this and how it all affects everyone. So Jim's going to channel and we're going to be able to ask some questions. We've got loads of questions today, guys, so we're going to have to be really precise on the ball. So I'm really excited. So I'm going to hand over to Sabrina because she's got this beautiful, amazing voice and introduces everyone so nicely. So please, honey, take it away.
Welcome, everybody, to our DNA webinar. Welcome, everyone that it's in the room with Jim also. And there is a new person sitting in the room with Jim today, so I want to welcome her. Today we're going to be talking about the DNA. It had been talked about in the past. However, there's a lot of new members, and a lot of them have questions. And there have been updates and changes that Girk Fitneer has done. So Tekkrr will be talking about that because like anything, everything evolves. So what was good yesterday might not be good today. So we will wait to see what Tekkrr had said. I also want to thank Jim for doing this webinar for us every Saturday without fail. So thank you for putting all your time into this, Jim. I know Saturdays are precious for most people, so I want to say thank you for giving so much to us, for giving, of yourself and being there for everybody, because behind the scenes, he jumps in whenever anyone needs it. And I have to say, he does it for me, so I want to thank you for that. And Will, hello, Will. How are you?
Hello. Super
So,
fantastic.
On that note, Jim?
Tim?
Jim.
Oh,
That's
did you want to?
Did
you? Did you want to introduce the people in the room with you?
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I don't know how many you have there. So.
Oh, I mean, go ahead and introduce your room,
Okay.
and I'll introduce mine.
Okay. So we have in the room with us in the webinar Barbara, Guru Dan, Rowie, Johannes, Karen, Kim, Safira, and I'm not sure how to say his name, and they were talking about it earlier, so I don't want to say incorrect. Here. There you go.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. And now I will let Jim introduce the people that are in the room with him.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this fabulous day. Right here in East Rochester, it is absolutely gorgeous today. We're having a beautiful, beautiful weather day, and we're all in a good frame of mind. So I want to introduce everybody to you. Beside me is to your right, my left will be Raymond, and our new guest today is Michelle. Welcome. And then Francine, Sandy, Barbara, Helga, Brian, my next door neighbor, and this guy's Will. So it's a really beautiful energy in here today. We have an intentioned webinar for DNA and for hybridization and for all those questions in between there. And it is an intention that this is a learning experience of love and understanding, because it is what connects us to the universe in a very real way, is the DNA and the hybridization, the hybrid children and the different things of that nature. So we are very connected with the galaxy right now, and it is becoming a greater thing. And I know that many of you are like Sheer, for one. It has many different hybridizations within his body. He's asked for many different ones, and I asked Tekkrr maybe to ask some of you if you would like to tell how you feel uh, about your hybridizations. And Nivi is there too. Is Nivi with you?
No, he's in a festival.
Oh, very good. Well, Sheer and Nivi are brothers, and they both have a great deal of hybridization. And say hello to me, to Nivi for me, though. So,
Sure do.
anyhow, well, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I said that I will.
Did you want to say something?
Carry on, Jim.
Continue.
All
right.
Go ahead, Jim.
Say hello to him.
Alrighty. I thought he was saying something, so I was waiting. So I didn't. When we have a webinar, we have a tendency to talk over each other a little bit, because there's delays and things of that nature. So I don't want to interrupt if you're going to say something. So, but much love to you all, and I know that there is a lot of questions out there. So let's start right now. And I did want to say, Sabrina, you were telling how faithful I am. I'm not going to be here next week. So
That's okay. You're entitled to get a day off and go off and do something else.
Actually, and it's over now. No, actually, August I'm going to be taking some time. I have some traveling to do in August as well. So I'll keep you updated on what's going on with that. So
okay.
Much love, and I will start now. And everybody, put your intention into a wonderful webinar with much information. I know there's much information and questions that are going to come today. It's very exciting. So much love, and I'll do a little bit of a meditation, and we'll bring through Tekkrr first, because I know that she's excited to be here and talk about it. She knows most about the Girk Fitneerian ways and hybridization. So let's talk to her first. So I'll see you in a little bit, and have fun, enjoy, and feel all the love that is all around you.
Okay, Jim. See you in a little.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Tekkrr.
Hello, Tekkrr.
How are you?
Welcome
today?
to Tekkrr, Muha.
Good morning, Tekkrr.
Wuha.
Hi, Tekkrr. Hi.
Hello. It is good to be with you today. I've heard that this is going to be a time of information for different kinds of DNA and hybridization questions. And I'm very ready for that because I think you need to know a little more to actually position yourself to understand where you stand in the galaxy and universe, to position yourself for the giving and taking of these things. Because it is not just us giving to you, but you are giving back in the way that there are many things of immunization and things of this nature that will improve the stature of the galaxy. Do you understand these things? Perhaps not at this time, but I will help you to understand a little better, and I will try to explain it in the most common way, if that is a good term, to be understood. The logical way to explain it would be to have most people understand it. And so therefore I will bring down the high scientific language to bring it down to the levels of the humanity so that humanity may experience the understanding and knowledge that is to be presented. So if there is corrections to be made in words, perhaps, please help me, because I do not know all the scientific words or the translations in your language of some of these DNA terms. However, I will try to get it forth to you as understandably as possible. And also, I would like to say that I would want and welcome any comments or questions. But first, let me say that our hybridization program does deal directly with the DNA. What happens when we give an infusion of DNA is that we put it in what you call the end DNA, or what some people call the junk DNA. Why do we put it there? Because to interact directly with the DNA would be dangerous and also unpredictable, because who knows where it's going to move its strands while doing the infusion. Putting it in the junk DNA, which is below the bottom of the helixes, is the most logical, because there it can find its way into the lower parts of the DNA, which is fine, and move its strands upwardly. And then, after the infusion, it is then activated. The activation of these, we look at the strands and where it has been all infused, and we activate those strands that are coming up from that DNA to the places that it feels it should go. But we only activate those things that are necessary, which would be in spirituality, telepathy, good health, things of this nature. Now, occasionally a strand will reach telekinesis areas, psychiatric points that are not necessary to be activated. And if we do not have to activate that area, then we do not. But there are some situations where when the activation comes, some psychic abilities and some telekinetic abilities are activated, as well as other smaller things that are not normally activated within humans, like great empathy and things of this nature. However, empathy is not a problem. We feel that that is a great benefit to most humans in most cases. So that is what I wanted to explain right up front. So if there is a lot of questions about that, they would be answered immediately. The other part that I wanted to say up front and immediately is that there are different and better benefits to different kinds of off-world DNA. Now let me explain. I do not want to say aliens. Some people are offended by that word. We are not, because alien is actually better than extraterrestrial, because that means extra from being extra from the earth. And we are actually in space, and we are extra from the Earth in many senses, but not in the truest of the senses. We are not living there, and we are not coming off. But I would like to explain that there are benefits to different kinds of infusions. There are many species that are giving infusions at this time. The Girk Fitneerian infusions are now Arcturian, Lyran, Pleiadian, Yahyel, and friendly reptilian, but mostly not friendly reptilian is only for certain people, because there are only certain people that could handle it. Because reptilian works a very difficult period of time on the human body where you become very fuzzy and very out of sorts and things of that nature, which we do not want you to have to go through. But if you do request it, we will consider it and scan your body to see if it is something that you would be benefiting by. But those 6 different species are part of Girk Fitneer. Now, there are other hybridization programs out there. The Sirians have one. Elohim has been known to give some of their DNA as well, and that is a very high honor because they do not give it to everyone. There are other species, such as the Greys, that are not part of us, the Zeta Greys, and those that are on the borderline. We are not sure if they are friendly or just neutral or what their agenda is. We do not want to say anything negative. But they do have their programs as well. And let me explain what benefits there are to each of the different things from Girk Fitneer. We do not have a study on how changes are for Elohim exactly, but we have seen in some people that Elohim is a great spiritual awakening at some point. It may not be during the activation, but eventually, when the time is right, they have a great awakening of spirituality in the sense that they understand their movement, they understand their spiritual activity, they understand their forward process. And so it makes it much easier for them in some ways to move forward because they are able to have this kind of infusion and able to process it properly. Now, let me continue with the different kinds of hybridization that there are. There is Lyran, which is my species. We are very large beings. I am 8'7" myself and female. And so therefore, when you get our DNA and it is activated, you should feel some muscle tone actually increase. You should also feel a greater sense of clarity in your mind, a greater sense of being able to speak to people. And of course, with all of the infusions come some senses of increased intelligence or even emotional intelligence, which I can explain more if you need. But at this time, I think I would like to not spend much time on that. The others are Arcturian, which is a great spiritual. They are in 5th dimension, a higher dimension than even where I am. And their dimension would give you a greater lightness in your feelings, a greater lightness in your heart chakra, a greater love experience, a greater spirituality in the sense that you want to express yourself in a spiritual way. Also, it tends to help with telepathy and empathy, especially if there are traits of it in you already. Now, moving on to Arcturian. I just said Arcturian. Yahyel. Yahyel is the closest to human that there is. Yahyel is 97% human, at least for most people. Of course, there are some variances within the Yahyel culture, but about the average is about 97% of their DNA is very, very similar to 97% of your DNA. Now, their looks are slightly different. They look more human than the Greys, but they are of a Grey species. When you take in the infusion for a Yahyel, you will feel that you are more grounded and stable. You will feel more like a part of Mother Earth Gaia. Because this is something that they bring in. Your Reiki and abilities will increase because that is energy from the sky and the earth, and they are and you will feel both of those moving together in a greater way. You will also do more astral traveling, and your meditations will become easier. Of course, also, emotional IQ or regular IQ may increase. Now, for Pleiadian friendliness. Their friendliness is well known. Their courtesy, kindness, and sweetness is well known. And these will increase in you with Pleiadian. Also with the mental abilities that might increase as well. Also the heart chakra becomes very engaged whenever speaking to someone. They become most likely empathic or telepathic with their friends in a greater way than they already are. So when you mix some of these together, your telepathy and empathic abilities also increase. Now, who did I forget? I'm not going to tell you about the reptilian unless you want that person personally, because reptilian gives a whole different scenario of benefits. There are some benefits, but there are some warnings as well that go with doing the reptilian. So I have to give you that. And so we have Arcturian, Pleiadian, Yahyel,
Sirian?
Lyran. The Fendorians. I forgot. Our newest member. The newest member to come to us are the Fendorians. They're also of a high spiritual nature from the fifth dimension. Not quite as high as the Arcturians, but very close. And they will enhance your spirituality also. They will give you greater vision in the sense that you can foresee the things that are coming, or you can foresee slightly ahead what is happening in the world. And this will come in the sense of a deja vu kind of thing. Not far ahead, but just slightly ahead. Sometimes minutes, and sometimes seconds, and sometimes, in very rare cases, hours. But they give you a small glimpse of the future. And because of their atmosphere and the different elements that are within that, it helped them to become more time-oriented, in the sense there is no time, but they can see a bit into the future. We are learning more and more about their infusions. We have not really started to use them a lot yet, but we are learning that is something that could be a benefit to the human race. Also, it would be increase in IQ or emotional IQ, and an increase in the entire chakra realm. The Kundalini would be affected a lot by Fendorians because they activate the entire chakra line. So keep that in mind. But be prepared, because your physical nature will also increase. Your wants and desires, let's put it that way, will also increase. You'll feel a higher sexual urge. You will feel a higher need for being in close proximity to other people and things of that nature. You'll crave other people and things of that sort. So be aware of that, because the Kundalini is stronger with them than it is with actual humanity. And so therefore, the Kundalini chakra enlightenment will be very physical in some ways. You will want to be with other people. You will want to experience other people. So be aware of that and keep that in check in some ways, because you do not want to seem inappropriate. So that is just one thing that I would like to say about that. You do not want to seem inappropriate. So very good. I think that is done. I believe I've covered all of them. Have I not?
Yes. I would like to make one small point.
Yes.
About you mentioned reptilian.
Yes.
And I would like to give a different analogy on reptilian besides it comes with a warning.
Yes.
So I would like to say that it's like adding hot sauce to your food. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. Some people like hot, some people don't. There are many benefits to adding hot sauce to your food.
Yes.
Or adding jalapeno peppers or things like that. So if you don't like hot food, reptilian.
Well, a very, very good analogy. Thank you very much for that human point of view. I love it. But let me say this. We will, if you do have interest in that, we will discuss it one-on-one, because I wanted to add one more thing. Each individual has a different makeup and a different amount of hormones within their body, a different scheme to their DNA, which makes you look different, which makes you act different, which brings in a different base understanding of humanity and life as you understand it. And you are taught, there is some DNA that is blank when you come in that you put information on, just like writing on a chalkboard. And so what you write on that chalkboard can influence how other DNAs affect you as an individual. So therefore, be aware that each person will experience something different, or they may have stronger understandings or feelings, and others may have weaker understandings. And plus, the fact is that many of you already have some hybridization in you, and therefore this will enhance it, or you can increase it, or it can work. We have to discover if these DNAs can work together within your particular system, which means that we do a scan on you to understand your system better before there are any infusions or any activations done. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
I know that there's someone here that has a question. You have a question?
The integration of all these beautiful...
Come and speak into the microphone.
I am Brian.
Hello.
And my question is, with all these beautiful energies and DNA templates that are potentially within us,
yes,
taking the best qualities,
yes,
and bring them into physicality, what is required of the physical world for us to bring about the integration of the DNA?
That is what we're working on now. We are working on the integration. That is why the hybridization program exists, is because we are seeing what hybridization does to humanity and what it does to the species that are involved with it. We have found that there is a greater immunity with those also that get any kind of hybridization. Why is this? Is because the immune system is strengthened by the fact that these are part of the DNA now and not just things that are outside of the DNA. So immunity, or the immune system, I should say. The immune system is hybridization in many ways because that is not harmful now. It is part of who you are. And so other outside influences could not affect you as much as they did before, because now you are immune through the evolution of these other hybridizations and other civilizations. You are immune to some of the things that they are now immune to, and they are immune to some of the things that you are now immune to. But that also opens up the gate for different things, for cancer, from humans to aliens, to be processed. However, we have found that cancer is less. We have found that heart disease is less. We have found that liver damage is less, unless you are a heavy alcoholic drinker or drink or do things that harm the liver in itself or harm these parts of the body. However, we're finding the immunization program is helping to bring, I mean, the hybridization program is bringing more immunization to both species. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Very good. Is there another part to the question?
There's an extension of the physical habits we will have
Yes.
as integration takes place that's going to be more common to humans in understanding, wellness and sustaining that
Correct.
integration. It just, we don't sit on our butts with integration.
Correct.
We're taking action. And
Exactly.
just elaborating more as we go what physical things we sync up with to continue and support that integration.
It will become more of an instinct of other species. Instincts will become your instincts, and your instincts will become part of other species' instincts. You know when you are doing something that's harming your body. It is instinctive that you know. If you overeat, if you smoke, if you drink too much, if you do these things, you know that it is harming the body. But with the integration of the hybridization, it helps you to have a little more control. And the reason is for that is your immunization speaks to the body as well. If you feel that you are stronger, you will be stronger. And these do help with the strength, not only in the emotional IQ, which is part of the personality. Do you understand that? The emotional IQ will be enhanced, and so therefore you will desire to bring forth a greater health. Do you understand that? And as you become intellectually involved with your physicality, you will discover that the foods that you choose are intended to help you better as an individual, just as your food process may be slightly different because of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. And yours may be more vegetable oriented or more, some are more slightly more meat oriented if they're more primitive bodies, because that is the origin of your planet to be carnivores. So to completely cut out meat at some point is not healthy for some because they need it for the vitamins and minerals in their body, or for what the meat does for them. But I would like to be expressive in the saying that I am not necessarily against vegetarians. That is not what I am saying. There are a few of you that have evolved enough that vegetarianism is, or what a veganism or whatever you call it on your planet, is all right. It is all right. But you must feel better. You must not get weaker with it. You must not get weaker with it. If you become weaker and more frail, then that is not what you should be doing. Do you understand that? You need some of the meat for balance. And you should thank Mother Earth and all the animals that give their lives for these different purposes to feed your body, because they go on to spirit, and they are beautiful creatures wherever they end up. We have not been there personally, so I cannot say. But I know that in the Oversoul there is animals, minerals, species of all different sorts. So, does that enter your question?
Yes, thank you for answering.
Not a problem. I enjoyed that question because it tells you so much about who you are. You see, because you are strong. There are many places in the brain that are not yet open. Many places in the brain, you only use a certain percent of your brain. Some of you use greater amounts of your brain than others. But the percentage of your brain that is being used is slight compared to all the different wonderful godlike things that could be opened up. You see, eventually you will realize that you are much greater than what you appear to be now. And your belief systems have much to do. If you would intend yourself to open up many of the other places in your brain, eventually some of them will now that are safe for you. Perhaps psychic energy or telekinesis or things of that nature. But if it's unsafe, it will not open. If it's unsafe for you. If it's unsafe for you or humanity. I get off the subject, but some reason I wanted to say that. So, continue. That was another question, unless you have more.
Thank you,
Very
Tekkrr.
good.
I just would like to add something
Continue.
just here. Greetings, Tekkrr. It's Rory. I just want to let the new members
Rowie.
and people know that if they wish to apply for these DNA changes, activations, infusions, whatever you want to call them, there is an apply button on our website, humancolony.org. If you're interested in personal experimentation or you have an intention to improve yourself with these, please go to this website, click the button, and write what you require in the email. Thank you, Tekkrr.
Thank you.
And to add to that,
There's another question.
To add to that, Rowie, I want to say, just like Tekkrr said, because it's very individual. Probably if you can't, do a session with Jim, and then they can do a more one-on-one with you about your DNA and what is best for you. Tekkrr, I know that Girk Fitneer. Hello, Tekkrr. Sorry for being rude.
Hello.
I know that Girk Fitneer doesn't have Sirian and Andromedan. This is questions from two different members.
They
But
have their, yes.
Can Girk Fitneer get other DNAs and the benefits of those two different DNAs?
An excellent question. There are other species that have their own hybridization program. The Sirians, yes. Santia is our contact for Syria. Also, the Zeta Greys are in contact with those that are asking for gray hybridization. Now, we do not have any control of that. But we can ask them for you and have them. Did the volume just go out?
We're
No, I
hearing you
can
fine.
hear you.
Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yes, correct.
Yes, we can hear you, Tekkrr.
Did the volume go out? All right.
No.
I hear you fine.
There was
Everything is
a
good. Can you
breach
hear us,
in some
Tekkrr?
of the atmosphere here, so I felt that. All right.
Okay, we're good now.
What was I saying? I felt a very strong interference in the atmosphere, and so I thought perhaps the volume had gone out. Forgive me. They do have their own programs. The Zeta Greys and there's the Zespods have a program, and that is Old Rise or Grindel's species, the Zespods. And there are those other species that do have hybridization programs. If you contact us about any of these other species, we can get in contact for you if they have not already contacted you. Now, some of them do not, if they hear you, they will just start the program. But we will let you know if it is started. Let us know. And also, it's best if you're going to ask another species for infusion, that you speak it out loud, that you do an intention meditation for it to find out if your body is right for that personal infusion. Now, if you ask us, we can do a scan on you, but we do not know all the different effects of these other species. Do you understand that? We do not know how it affects humanity. We haven't been studying their programs. We only have been studying our own programs. So therefore, we would like you to do an intention meditation about how that will affect your systems. Because I know that with the Zespods or the the Zespods are reptilians, and the Zeta Greys are. I have a feeling that they could be a greater influence because they have very strong DNA. So that is what we are aware of. So please do a meditation about if that would be right for you. And we can also check you. If you would like to contact us, we would be able to tell you if your body would be right in some ways for that particular thing, but we do not know all the benefits or hazards of other species. The next question, please.
So what are the benefits of the Syrian DNA?
That is what we're saying. We do not know all the benefits. We know that Syrian DNA is a very high DNA, so we would assume, and the word assume I do not like, but we would assume that it would give you higher spirituality for one thing, or a greater sense of spirituality, because they are very light beings. We know of them, we've seen them, we have spoken to them, so we do understand it, but we've never studied their DNA because they are not part of Girk Fitneer. We would not assume to do that to them. We would not dissect them without their permission, so to speak. We would not analyze them without them being. It is not a good protocol to do such a thing. So we are respectful of who they are.
Okay. You had answered part of Sean's question about the Fendorians, but the one thing was, he said, what are the pros and cons of the Fendorian DNA? I know you said the pros.
Yes, the pros are very good. You must understand right now that the Fendorians are new to Girk Fitneer, and so there is not a lot of cons that we have found at this point. They have given DNA to those in the past that have asked for it in personal sessions with Jim and others. And so we are able to study that now that they are with us for the last 3.5 months. And we did not find any of them to have any bad effects at this point. However, they have only been with us a short period of time. But so far we see only pros in their DNA infusions. It seems like with human DNA seems to be a great fodder for all different kinds of species because it was seeded that way. It was seeded to be all different species, and this is why you are so valuable to the universe and the galaxy, is because there are so many species that have blended with you, and so many species have small amounts of what is the word that I'm looking for? Some have greater DNA with Yahyel, some have greater DNA with Fendorian, some have greater DNA with Reptilian, but it is because you were seeded this way and that they are all mixed together so that when we add it to your hybridization or your being, it does not foully react. It does not react in a way that is bad. It seems to integrate rather easily because you have been exposed to it for so many hundreds and hundreds of years. It seems to be fertile soil, if you will. It seems to be fertile soil for the interaction of other species. And this is a great thing because what is great about that is that you will be able to help other species cure their ills and diseases, cure their lack of emotions even. There are some species that have evolved to a place where at one point in their evolution they felt that emotion was unnecessary because it seemed to be something that hindered them. However, the discovery is now that emotion actually activates positive creativity. positive creativity. They reached a place where their creativity was not emotional. It was totally scientific, and it became boring, and they started to move away from the thoughts of actually living. Therefore, humanity, with its great sense of emotions and its great hybridization within some of these species, has awakened some of these thoughts and creativities. Not in a great way yet, but they are feeling that they can be a more creative civilization with some emotion. And therefore, they are becoming thankful for the reactivation of this part of their brain. You see, it's still there. It's still there. It's still in their brains. They had just learned to turn it off. And they were taught to turn it off. And when children are born, they were taught to turn it off. But now they are changing their philosophy. Some of them, not all of them. But some of them are now changing and reactivating their emotional sensibilities because they are seeing that life is more pleasurable. Life is more worth living with emotions. Even when they feel that there are negative emotions, which I don't like that word, but there are things that cause them to feel in other ways other than positive, it still enhances their existence. It still enhances their existence. I'm sorry I got off on a little sidetrack there, but I thought that was important for you to know. Continue.
Yes. Thank you, Tekkrr. Now I have some questions from Slava.
Good
Okay.
afternoon, Slava.
Yeah. He said, I wonder, what is DNA in your perspective? Can you please share your personal vision on DNA, or perhaps more specifically on this subject? And then he says, for me, DNA is like a unique melody of the soul experience, a unique vibrational code of the soul flower, the structure of our version of the universe, the melody which sounds out of time and space, expanding to the whole universe through one moment and one particle of the creation.
That is beautiful. Let me tell you how I see it in the sense that is so poetic. It is not actually scientific, but it does speak about the DNA. The DNA is what the soul connects to bring out certain parts of you, who you are. Who you are is all in your DNA, and you are more than who you are. You are more in your DNA who you are than you even know, because you are like godlike beings, and we are too, but we cannot activate every strand. You would be you couldn't exist. You couldn't exist. You would be mad in a matter of time, because looking at you in 50 million different ways. So yes, you activate slowly that DNA in your evolution that belongs there at this point of time. And you see, it belongs there for all eternity, because eventually it will all be activated and you will be the godlike creature that you were meant to be. And you will still want to learn more. Because why? Because creation keeps going on. Creativity continues. You create, you create, you create. We all create. And why should God stop creating? He doesn't. That is who he is. He is a creator, correct? And so if he stops doing his job, he wouldn't be a creator anymore.
Can't do that.
He has to continue to create and expand on this wonderful universes, millions of universes even, and it's like he's an artist. He paints and creates, and his gallery is not full yet. Wataka uwa. Diakobai.
Okay.
Siku.
And there was one more question from him, Tekkrr. He wants me to read this all in one breath. I will try. Okay.
Interesting concept.
He says, I wonder how organized the process of DNA infusion. For example, when humans ask for Lyran DNA infusion, who decides which Lyran DNA will be given to a human? Is it personal choice on each Lyran to whom he would like to give DNA? Interesting who makes this choice on which DNA will be given to a specific man. I believe this happened not by chance and by the contract of the soul, but interesting to know how this process organized and how this affects you when you give DNA to humans. Is it change in? Does it change something? For example,
Yes.
you starting to see a little bit different, because I believe it's a mutual process in many ways.
How could you possibly say that in one breath? But this is what I want to tell you. I'm telling you this right now. There is banks and banks of DNAs all over the universe because it has been collected for thousands of years. However, when it comes to humanity, it is volunteered. Those persons that want to give DNA to humanity are asked to give their permission to do this for humanity. We felt that it was too clinical just to take anybody's DNA and put it in you. So we asked for volunteers. We asked for the person to get to know who you are before they give you their DNA. And they can do that just by reading the history of who you are, which is also chronicled here in our ship. So what they will do, we would ask volunteers for a Lyran DNA or some kind of DNA and that will be who will volunteer, and they will read about you first. Perhaps 5 or 6 will read about you, and then one will say, I would like to volunteer my DNA for this person because of this, this, and this. There may be more than one volunteer, but we pick the one that most suits you, the one that most fits with your personality and your likeness and what you want. Because we know by reading who you are, what you want, what you aspire to, and these different things. And so I get excited about that because I've personally give some DNA myself to some people, but which you would call, he's my mate. We are not married in a ceremony like what you have. But there is a ceremony, but it's just nothing like what you have. But it is a wonderful time of union and joining. But others have volunteered, other Lyrans, from even the planets that we are on. We let people know. We let the other different species know who is wanting what DNA, and it is all volunteer. We do not take it from the banks because we do not think that is fair to humanity at this point. We think it should be much more personal. We think it should be much more loving than that. That's too clinical for this time in your reality. It's too clinical for our time in reality. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Does that make sense
Yes.
to you?
Yes, that totally makes sense. And he had one last question to her. She says she would like to ask for a hybrid girl, if it's appropriate, with Yahyel and Sirian DNA together. And he says, I don't know how this DNA will mix together, but I believe it will be a wonderful child. Honestly, I hope one day this shell will have a choice to visit planet Earth, and I believe that she will be a good sister, especially for Targa, when he will live on Earth. And he said, thank you very much. Much love, Slava.
Very good. You already have hybrid children, as you know, Slava, and this will be granted to you. Contact me in a few days through a text to Jim, and I will tell you the process, how far it is along, because we cannot speak to you directly. Therefore, I will let you know in an email. I will let Jim know, and he will send the email. Of course, I will not do the email myself. But we will let you know what is happening.
Okay. Shir?
Hello, Takur. Is everything sababa?
Sababa. Yes. I remember.
Mm. How are you?
Everything is Sababa. I am very well. I would ask you a question at this time. May I?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Sheer is one of the people that has had many hybridizations, one of which was also Elohim, which is now activated. Can you tell me how the hybridizations have affected you at all?
Yes. The first one was Arcturian, which was very amazing actually, because I was somewhere between negativity and positive, and that's just blew my mind. It just gave me a lot of grounding. It was like magic, I can say. The Lyran gave me much clearance, much thought process are much more easier. Things are going very smooth, just a lot of quiet in my mind. The Sirian was very light, like I'm a feather, like walking in the street. And the Elohim is just start to activate, but from time to time I feel like an extreme excitement. I know it's them, and I know it's supposed to bring many great things to me when it will be fully activated, and I am very looking forward for this.
Excellent, thank you. What is your question now? I wanted everyone to hear that there are effects. And there are some different effects there that I even mentioned earlier. But each individual is each individual. And it affects them in a way that is what is supposed to be affected for you. And that is what I love about it so much. What is your question, Sheer?
The first one, if I will have any children in the future, will they get the DNA? Will that help them and they will pass it on?
Yes, this is part of what is to be. This DNA can be passed on, but it is not actually integrated enough quite yet. But in generations, it will be.
I see.
There's only small amounts of it able to be given to you at this time, up to 10% perhaps. But you understand that in the future, you will be born with 10%, and then you can add on to that. And then you'll be born with 15%, and you'll be able to add on to that. But this is part of natural selection and evolution, as they call it. So therefore, in time, within the time that you become telepathic, which will be within the next 200 years, you will also become greater humans, and we will become greater species.
Mm-hmm. The second question, I know that when you implant the DNA, it's in a hologram, and through time it becomes an actual part of the DNA. So
Yes.
the question is, what will become after a year or 5 years or 10 years when someone have an hybridization?
We are studying that now. But there are those that exist that have long-term hybridizations. There are those that have been in programs since their childhood and things of that nature. And at this point, they are becoming enlightened at earlier ages. They are becoming more spiritual at earlier ages and discovering that they have more skills and mental abilities at earlier ages. So this is the only thing that I can tell you at this time. Now, I have not seen all of these children because I do not understand all of them because some of these hybridizations are not any of the species that we are involved with. However, I have seen also a greater physicality. The earlier that the child gets certain DNAs, the greater physical advantages and greater health they seem to have, and they seem to become a little taller, they seem to become a little brighter, and they seem to become a little more enlightened at an earlier age.
I see. Thank you very, very much. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. Much love.
Always a pleasure to speak with you also. I hope the information was good for all of you. Is there more questions?
Johannes.
I love this subject because there's so much to it.
Hello, Tekkrr.
Continue.
Can I be
Who am I
heard?
speaking to?
You're speaking to Johannes.
Ah, Johannes. How are you?
I'm so great. I mean, yesterday was incredible. What was happening yesterday? If you can tap into what happened yesterday with me and Martina, then it's just incredible. So
I am so happy for you.
yeah, me too. My
And
question.
yes,
Yeah, my questions quickly about my hybridization. How is it going, and what have I so far being infused with? Because I requested Yahyel and Pleiadians, so how it is going.
yes. Actually, you are doing very well. The Yahyel is complete and activated. The Pleiadian, we waited for a while after the Yahyel. You were going through some things that we wanted to just for you to get through. And then the Pleiadian has started and now is actually starting to activate. But the infusion is done. You are doing very well, and you are feeling many of the effects of it now. Hello?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm listening to you. What?
I was just wondering what effects you are feeling.
What affects my feelings?
No, what effects are you feeling from the hybridization?
What effects do I feel? I feel more telepathical because I think my intention was to find it out, and it's getting better. I feel more controlled at the moment. Many things get to the positions where it should be folded at this time, and I feel very comfortable.
Very good. A very positive interaction with your DNA. This is what I am trying to let everyone know. And also, we are giving this information to your governments because they are starting to learn that interfacing and interhybridization between the species is actually a very good thing and not something to be feared, not something to be suspect of. Because our intentions are to bring both you and we, or us, greater benefits of our DNA infusions with one another. And so we are giving this information to your governments as well, so that they will have first contact sooner than later. Sooner than later. But we still have some work to do on that account.
Just
But
one
thank
last.
you for your question. I think that it is very, very important.
Thank you, Tekkrr. Just one thing.
Yeah.
Can I just ask for some names of who came yesterday to me and Martina? If there are some names.
Your visitation, I can give you 2 names. One moment. 𝗪𝗪𝗏, Piashunda. Actually, it's Piashunda with a T sound. Is that what you needed to know?
Thank you very much, Tekkrr. It was a pleasant conversation, this one.
Saphira?
Yes. Thank you,
Hello,
Johannes.
Tekkrr.
Continue.
Oh, hello,
Saphira, how
Tekkrr.
are you?
I'm fine.
How
Thank you
are
for
you?
being. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
You are.
I have 2 questions. Thank you very much. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
I will use myself as an example. I have several DNAs I was born with, for example. You take some DNA from me to create a hybrid child from Lyrans.
Correct.
So the Lyran child has both Lyran and a mix of alien DNAs from me. What are the benefits for you, for your race or other races, of having our DNA aside from the emotional aspect, if we are so mixed up?
Your DNA, the greatness of your DNA is that it is fertile soil. You see, if we were trying to do this hybridization program with, say, a reptilian, or say a Lyran would try to do a hybridization with a reptilian, or a Lyran would try to do a hybridization program with a Sirian, it would not be as successful. Do you know why? Because all of the different DNAs that have been mixed within you make it more fertile, make it more of a something that can grow and expand. And that is what we get from the human DNA, is the ability to grasp onto a greater union. The union together is much greater. The success of the fertilization, the hybridization, is at a 95% point at this time. And at one time it was only like 40 or 30, because we didn't know how to do it properly. But now that we know how to do it, it has become a very successful program. And your DNA and your bodies are so equipped to handle different species, even the reptilian, even as far as possibly insectoid. But you have not really had much insectoid infusion yet, because they are so different. But yet, it is possible for humans to do it. We see that the possibility is there. We just don't know what the effects of it would be, so that is something that we have not, I don't know if anyone has a lot of insectoid, and draconian even. Draconians have had a hybridization program with some, and it has successfully mingled with the human body.
There is a Simon Park, if you know, he is mantoid, human, and reptilian.
Come here, they cannot hear you.
When you speak of insectoid, are you also speaking of the mantoid? Mantis?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Simon Parks, who is quite interesting, he is human, reptilian, and mantis. And his soul, as he says, is more mantis. Simon Parks.
That would be someone that you could look up. We are not associated with the mantis population. They are of kind and good people, but they are of neutral, usually neutral existence.
Very loving, very much part of the ascension.
Yes.
And rising of consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your name was what?
Helga, nice to see you again.
Yes, oh yes, I remember you, yes.
Thank you very much.
Continue.
Tekkrr,
You have a second question.
I do. Thank you very much. It's about cloning. There is some information that, for example, the Pleiadians were cloning us so that when they took us off the earth and we lost our bodies, they could put our spirits in those bodies. I'm not sure if hybridization and cloning are connected, but do you know of cloning, and is it connected to our DNA, which I would assume it is?
Cloning is much different. Let me explain. Hybridization mingles the different species with one another, making both species stronger. Whereas when you do a clone, it weakens, the duplicate is weakened. It has more flaws than the original. Now, it may look perfectly the same. However, it is a print, a copy. So the original is always stronger. And so therefore, when you do an exact clone, there are always the possibilities for weaknesses within that replication. And therefore, when they do cloning of a human body, it has more frailties. It does not last as long unless you put it in suspension. Now, if a body passes away and you put their spirit in a clone, yes, it will seem the same, but it will not live as long. It will not have the same lifespan, and it will deteriorate a little faster because it is a duplicate. It is not meant to be the original. The original is the only original, and the duplicate is a duplicate.
I see. So the Greys, which came in the 50s, a certain race, and the Pleiadians, do they actually clone us? Is that true? Do you know of that?
They have done it many times. There's other species that have also done that.
I see.
But they realize, actually, without, you see, the only way that a clone can exist in a long suspension of time is two ways. One, if you put it in suspension and do not use the body, if it is in suspension, or you have to reinforce some of the immune system, reinforce the energy systems, because the energy system is where the problem is. When there is a clone made, the energy system cannot be exactly duplicated because it is external in some ways from the actual DNA, because your soul is external from the actual DNA in the sense that it is not the soul of it's not the original fire. And so the fuel for a cloned soul is different. Do you understand that?
Well, it's well said.
Continue.
Thank you for explaining that, Tekkrr, and much love to you. Thank you very much.
Much love to you as well.
Thank you.
Barbara, in the room with Jim?
She is coming forth.
Hi, Tekkrr, Barbara here.
Hello, Barbara.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
My question is, the infusion DNA infusion that you did, has it been completed or is it still going on?
For you,
Yes.
it has been completed.
Because I could tell a difference
Yes,
in my heart, and then a little bit more intuitive.
exactly.
And then the other thing is, can I get the other 5
They can scan your body and see if your body is accepting of other DNAs. This will be something that it will have to be checked out, because we would not want to put you in harm in any way, putting 2 DNAs together in your particular system that would not match or would not flow together. However, we see that most DNAs that we put into the human bodies do work well together. They seem to have a natural bond because of the human DNA, not because of the alien DNA. Do you understand that? So, but we do check, we do a scan on everyone afterwards. After a DNA is infused and activated, there is a period before any other DNA can be added. 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧.
And the other question, you had mentioned something about this helps the liver. The DNA infusions helps.
DNA infusion can help different parts of the body. It depends on the individual and where the strands feel that they are most welcome when they come to the DNA. Also, what is activated must be in the right frame, meaning if there is a strand that is wrapped into your liver, but also wrapped into something that should not be activated, then that strand won't be activated because it would be detrimental in the long run. So that is just something by chance that happens. But in most cases, most people are affected in a very positive way. Does that make sense to you?
Does this also for the kidneys too, the same?
Exactly, that kind of thing where the strands go. It also depends on the individual how many strands appear. Sometimes there is only one. Sometimes there is four. We've not seen more than four, but sometimes there is only one. Most of the time there's two.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for that question.
Roy?
Is that understood to you? How that works? Yes.
I'm going to skip my question. Barbara, in the web room, in the webinar, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
All right. Hello, Tekkrr.
Hello, Barbara. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I would like to start out by thanking you for the new intro that you gave for Hucolo. It is beautiful and a clear explanation of the colonies, and I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you. We were hoping that it would help those who are interested in the cause of human colony to understand it better instead of having to try to ask someone for the information.
It was very helpful to
But now
me.
you can ask others. Excellent. I'm so glad.
Okay. When we get a DNA infusion, will physical characteristics of that race be given as well? Because I am like Caitlin, who has been in the room before, just love felines. And and from the drawings I've seen of Lyrans, you are so beautiful. However,
thank you.
For Earth human females, it is not considered desirable to have so much hair all over the body. So I was wondering
yes, it would not be a beautiful thing if Lyran were given to you and you started growing hair all over your body. No, that would not be good. We are careful to only give the portion a portion of DNA that will not affect that. However, it will stimulate hair growth on the head and on the body where there is hair, but not stimulate the hair growth in other places where there is no hair. So, I know that you have hair on your legs and things of that nature, but it will not overstimulate that, no. And there is the biggest thing that is evident with Lyran DNA is that the muscle tones in the body does enhance the muscle tone in your body. You seem to have a little bit more dense muscle tone. And that is the greatest of the enhancements physically. Most of this DNA is intended, as we give it, for more spiritual, emotional, and physical immunity growth and things of that nature. We try not to. There was one time where someone did grow a lot more hair, and that was a while back. And they contacted someone and said, "Oh my God, I'm growing all this hair." So they went in and they did a little adjustment. It was very, 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 very cautious, but it did help. So if there are any side effects like that, we usually try to look at it now as we're doing the activation. You see, as we're doing the activation now, it's monitored very closely. So those kind of things, if we see that that part of the activation is starting to grow a lot of hair, then we will not continue with that strand. So, but we will continue with the other strands because we can only go as far as we can go. If there's any harmful side effects, we stop it immediately. So it only goes so far. And some people may ask for the 10% of the infusion. They get that. But the activation might not be 10%, but it would be as high as we could give it to them. And so that we would tell them it is complete because that is as far as it can go.
Oh, that is beautiful. One other question. When I talk to my own DNA, would I be able to change some of my body parts?
That is up to your belief system. There is a place in your brain and in all brains in the universe that has the ability to regrow arms and legs, facial features, change different. You can eventually. There is a place in the brain in your human mind that is a shapeshifter. However, your belief system stops you from using it, and it is not activated in a way that is useful. So therefore, you would have to find a way to activate that. Now, intentioned meditation will do some, but I do not know if your belief system or your activation would be strong enough to cause that to actually happen. Now, I know there are people in this room that uses creativity and activation within themselves to do many things. So the human mind is incredible. Incredible. So you do have that within you to grow body parts if one is fallen off or whatever, but I don't see them falling off at this moment. So, but just like some of your reptilian animals, if a tail is lost, one will return. That is part of genetically who they are. Now, genetically, that is part of you in the unactivated parts of DNA and brain functions. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Am I a candidate for Lyran DNA?
We will have to scan you, and I believe that there should be no problem, but we'll do a scan on you during your sleep time or something, and if you would send a text to Jim, I can get back to you through his texting. I'll let him know if you are a candidate.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Much blessings to you. I love you.
Much blessings to you as well. One moment, please. There is a transmission. Continue.
Okay, Tekkrr, I have questions from a couple of people here. One is from Felipe. He would like to know if his infusions were started already.
One moment. Felipe, koka wa shitawati amba kitapa. No wa. Yes.
Okay, and can you tell them percentages?
Hikwati aba. 6%. But only one has been given for 6%. We are a little bit behind on the infusion and activation programs because there are so many asking for it at this time. And so it is a caution that we do only one person at a time, if we can. There are chances that we can do up to 3 at a time, but it is difficult to to monitor 3 at a time, and so we try to do only 1 at a time since we have so many other responsibilities with the Earth. And yes, you will get 6%.
Of what?
I'm looking to see what it is. Yakowashita. Kuroto. Yes. There are so many records in front of me at this time, and I'm not in a place where I can read them very clearly. So, yes, Felipe, get, yes, 6% Pleiadian. That is infused already, but not all activated.
Okay. I have a question from Maria. First of all, Tekkrr, how many DNA strands do we have?
What? I'm not sure what you're asking.
Okay, because she says, what does it mean for human beings having the 7th strand of DNA activated, and what should we expect?
I'm not sure what you're talking about exactly. You understand that? Would you tell them what the answer to that? Because, in my opinion, there is a difference between ours and yours. Continue to tell them.
With the human template, there is diverse opportunity within each of us, and there are different templates that can take on more energy, more light,
of course, yes,
and therefore release that. And with a higher frequency of an indigo template, indigo type 3s are typically our children we see with autism who have an amazing ability to influence everyone of those around them. And with that template, there's more malleability. As you said, it's fertile. So there's more fertility to grow and expand upon that. Indigo type 2s, indigo type 1s, different types of templates. So the 7th strand has to deal with levels of dimensions. So we can look at the 7th DNA strand as our crown chakra and the crown of thorns that is at the top of our human chakra system. So the 7th level of DNA consciousness and moving up the vibrational frequencies create the opportunity to go as high as within someone's belief system.
Exactly.
Or what's inside of them.
Thank you very much. They immediately told me that he would be able to explain it better than I could. I understood the question, however, I did not know how to explain it. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Our languages our language has barriers when it comes to more scientific terms and understandings. So thank you very much for that clarification. I would have had to go into high scientific jargon, which would not be good for the populace here. So thank you.
Okay. And the other question she had, which I don't know if you can answer at the moment, but she wanted to know if she had gotten the Arcturian infusion, Maria.
Yeah. I already know that. Yes.
She did.
Absolutely. Tell me, ask her how she feels with just the Arcturian infusion, because it has been activated as well.
Well, I know she has been feeling better lately, the last couple of days. I know she's been doing much better.
Just finished. Excellent. I am glad to hear that. Arcturian will make her feel, actually it brightens the heart chakra and also brings more clarity and strengthens the health patterns. The energy patterns, as I said earlier, are influenced by Arcturian. So that energy pattern is helping her health a great deal. Her energy flow is unblocked.
Okay. Then now I have a question from Peter. He said, my question is for
Hello,
DNA.
Peter.
Is there any other universe or physical reality in the existence where the DNA never existed, but there is still physical biological life form? I mean, is there any known other biological information system that based not or known of DNA system? Is the DNA a common universal solution
Yes.
for the biological information holding, or is this just a solution for the many? Many thanks.
97.7% of all creatures have a DNA system. There are those that are not sentient in the sense that we are sentient. They do have understanding and ability and intelligence, but they cannot possibly communicate with this particular realm of understanding, and therefore their ways are not of DNA. Their ways are of core, and their cores are made up of several different elements, and these elements are projected outside of them, and therefore they understand only those things that they can sense, and their sensibilities are not those of ours. And so they live in a flat dimension, or some of them live in the dimension of chaos, and therefore they cannot have DNA like most species, but they still do exist, and they still have sentience, but not in the way that we know sentience. Do you understand that? It's very hard to describe. I could talk about that for probably many hours.
Okay.
About that 2.3%.
Tekkrr, and this is a personal question. This is mine. I was told of a DNA that I have. I don't want to name the species. It is serpent. I'll say that. And I was wondering, how do you activate DNA that was given to you a long time ago?
We do not activate it. We can reactivate it, meaning that if it is already active or activated, there's nothing more that we can do. We can't actually deactivate it without doing some harm, because what has happened is that this has become a part of your DNA system, and it's already active and intertwined within the set of helixes or chromosomes that it's working with, and the strands are very input, and therefore to deactivate it, which is possible but is not healthy, because who knows exactly
I didn't want to
how that
deactivate
will affect.
Yeah, I didn't want to deactivate
Yes.
it. I wanted to activate it. I don't know if it is active.
I believe it is.
Okay.
It is definitely
Okay.
active.
All right. That's what I wasn't sure
Once
of.
it's activated, once it's activated, it will not be deactivated unless someone actually deactivates it, because it becomes part of the living strand of DNA that it is attached to. It becomes part of what it is. And therefore it is alive symbiotically, individually, and even, what is the word? What are leeches?
They suck blood.
They're not symbiotic.
Right. Right.
Yes, they're dependent.
Dependent. That's the word.
Yeah.
They become all these things: dependent, symbiotic, and what I said. Oh,
And
I am losing myself. Fortunately, I know how to do this now.
Excellent.
I've been learning for days now.
Yes. May I jump in and make a suggestion for Sabrina?
Correct.
So Sabrina, so I suggest with intentioned meditations that you can focus in on that particular DNA, have communication with it, ask questions about what properties it brings to you and how you can further bring those properties to fruition.
Okay. Okay, because that's what
Very good.
since I don't know what properties, I was trying to envision it, but since I didn't know what properties it had, but I guess, yeah, I should
We
ask.
can tell you that. Which you're talking about the one DNA that is not of, is it of a cold-blooded nature? Yes. It does have good properties, but you will have to go through a period of which we call adolescent period with it, and that is the period where your brain is fuzzy and you're unclear about certain things. But after that, there's a great clarity of mind. Once the fog is removed, it has taken a lot of the fuzziness that was originally there with it.
Yeah, we're talking about the one that is related to Machu Picchu, right? That's the one you're talking about.
I understand.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And with the information that's coming into us individually, it is our responsibility to embody. If I have an emotion that I suppress that's coming from my DNA, and I suppress that for years, then the DNA doesn't become deactivated. But if I am personally not embodying the emotions that I am feeling to express in the physicality, then that does cause a disruption from the information coming from our DNA into our physical being. So things activated within inside you, it is ultimately each one of our responsibilities to bring this forward in our own light, to embody it and allow it to come through into the physical world that we see and touch.
Very good. Because it will have some innate activity on its own, but you must embrace it for it to be fully available.
Yeah, and I think that's what
Is
they
that
were
what you're
telling
saying?
me, that I needed to embrace it. That's what I didn't know about it, to be frank. I just found out recently about it.
I understand.
And
I
then my
understand. And he is
question
correct. There, yes,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
go.
Sorry. My last question was
No, it is
just
not important. Continue.
if I had gotten more Arcturian DNA.
I believe 10% is the highest you can go, and you have that much.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tekkrr. Now, Sean.
Oh, hello.
Ah, shiny.
Much love. How are you?
Much love.
I was curious about you were saying earlier on that Fendorian DNA is on offer. My question is, which species of the Fendorian DNA is it actually? Because I know there's 3 species, so I'm curious to see which one's which. And when the
They're all 3 available.
yeah, and out of those,
Yes, they're all 3 available because. Continue.
I was just gonna say, and what are the advantages of the 3 separate species of the Fendorians and cons?
All 3 are available because they are all united in one place in the Girk Fitneer Alliance. They're all 3 different species of Fendorians. They have similarities because they are all of the 5th dimension, and they do have some differences. There is only one that will not, what is the word? It will not enhance the mental portion. It will only enhance the communication and heart chakras. But the other 2 are pretty much the same as we know so far in their activation. Being that they've only been with us a short time, we do not know all the benefits of their activation. So I will have to get back to you on that because I only know the ones that I have already told you earlier. And so we are still studying and we were still experimenting with the Fendorian infusions. However, they are available, and they are seemingly very safe at this point. We have not had any problem with them.
And I would
And of
suppose,
course, as you know, as we activate, we are very cautious.
and what dimension are most of the DNA infusions that people get on Hucolo? Is the DNA in?
It's mostly in fourth dimension, but it becomes third dimensional once it interlocks with your DNA. It is still have fourth dimensional properties, however, in some ways, because you know why? Because you have fourth dimensional energy in your bodies, and so it feeds off of that initially when it infuses, and then eventually it becomes totally third dimensional, but it can be activated by fourth dimensional intention.
So does that mean fifth dimensional DNA will be in fourth dimension then? Because most Fendorians are in fifth dimensional state.
Yes, they will. It will come. It will infuse in fifth dimension, but it becomes third dimension once it fuses, because that's what dimension you are in. If it is to be used in your dimension for your understanding, it will be third dimensional with fourth and fifth dimensional activations.
Thank you.
But it must be third dimension, otherwise it's unuseful. It won't be of any use if it doesn't go to the third dimension.
Thank you. Slow.
Stephen?
Hello, Tekkrr.
Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Much love.
I am wonderful. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to hear you're wonderful. I just wondering quickly, any updates, upgrades, changes in my DNA, and any suggestions to more infusions? Thank you.
Stephen, with you, everything is complete that you have asked for and wanted. The only thing that is missing right now from your infusions probably are those outside of Girk Fitneer that you might want to look into, such as Sirian. I think you even have Sirian, I'm not sure. But I believe that there are a couple others outside of the Girk Fitneerian culture that you might be interested in. And if you would like to speak to me about that, I'm willing to talk to you. But we would have to check that out within you and have a conversation about what things that you are wanting to self. And I know that you have your third dimensional life has been enhanced by these different hybridizations, but I think that you need something. I would suggest another third dimensional hybridization for you, because there is something that needs grounded with you, and but it's not a big deal. But I see that there are a couple things. You're very good, though, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yes, kuwa ua anuhahia.
Thank you.
Nokowa yakawashitapa. Continue.
Karen?
Yes, hi. Hi, Takur. Hi, it's Karen. How are you?
Karen, hello, how are you?
I'm very good.
I
Thank
enjoy
you.
listening to you a lot. I enjoy your programs.
Oh, thank you very much. I have a question because I don't know anything about any DNA that I may have. So if you do know, I'd like to know, because I have never asked that question. What DNA I have, if any, that's outside of here. Yeah, do you know?
One moment, please.
Sure.
They can let you know momentarily, because you are on the system. Yakwat. Tishin chikwa kiawa hauti numen kiha. You are Hawashi. Yes, there is a bit of Yahyel in you, and actually a touch of Lyran as well, about 2% Lyran, about 4% Yahyel.
Okay. And because you were talking earlier, the reason it made me ask is you were talking earlier about vegetarians and vegans, and I'm vegan, so, and I know that that's,
That is fine.
odd. So which is that part of because of my ancestry, or is that something that's just
It is
earthly?
part of your ancestry. It is part of your evolution. Ancestry have much to do with it. You are an old soul, so vegetarianism or veganism appeals to you. However, it would not hurt you to have a piece of meat now and then just for balance. But I know that it almost is an offense. But that is all right. Stay with your veganism. You seem to be rather a healthy person, as I can see, and it does not seem to detract from your essence. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I find it very hard to even consider eating meat. So I
Yes,
understand.
I know. I understand that. I
Can
see that within you, that it becomes...
Sorry, there's a delay. Go ahead. No, there's a delay, so.
I, I see that within you, that it's repulsive to eat meat. So, yes, you may stay a vegan as long as you like, because in your case, it works for you, and the very psychological entrance of meat within your body would cause problems. So, therefore, stay vegan.
Okay. And then you made a comment earlier, thank you for that. You made a comment earlier that stimulated a question. You said once the hybridization is done, that DNA follows you forever. So is it following you on an energetic level, or is it following you because your body does, for many people, it transitions, doesn't it? So is the
Yes.
do you understand what I'm asking? Is it also an energetic DNA
Yes.
infusion?
It transfers in a DNA level, because it will be reinforced on a DNA level in that way. The energy that you bring into your next life is a new energy, so it does not affect the energy except when you when the person that you are to be activates, and the things that you are learning activate with your DNA, then it will become part of your energy system. But originally it does not move to another body in the energy system, but only in the DNA and the physical.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Those are my questions, and blessings to you. It's always wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Now, I want to add on to, one moment. I'd like to add on to that a little bit. The energy systems will be affected by that DNA, but it's not what comes in originally into the energy system that is part of the hybridization. It is your original soul energy. It is your original personalities from many past lives and things of that nature. It is your original energy, fire, and flame that comes into that person. And when the DNA is there, then it is part of the physical to start with. But then as you grow and learn, it becomes part of the energy. Why? Because it cannot help itself to be activated with the energies that are around it. Do you understand that? Because when you're an infant, you do not remember anything, do you? Very, very little. Because your DNA is not energetically activated. It is there, but it has not been taught. Some of it is a blank sheet, and some of it is time activated. Some of it is instinctive. There is many things in the DNA. It's not a simple just, oh, there it is. But you have to understand that the energy around the DNA affects it. And so, yes, it does come through the physical. It comes through the DNA. But the energy, if there's fourth dimensional energy around it, if there's fifth dimensional energy, if there's third dimensional energy, that does affect how the DNA activates. Because one strand of DNA can activate in many different ways depending on how the energy is affecting it. Now, that is why each of you are so different. and so much the same at the same time, because you're living in different energies, but the same energies. Do you understand that? The energies are different at times, and that affects certain different parts of that DNA. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes. Thank you so very much.
Welcome.
Thank you. And I look forward to talking to you again in the future. Blessings to you.
Blessings to you. It appears that when I get very excited, my voice goes up.
You're a woman.
So, that is all right.
Cool.
I do get
Greetings,
excited
Tekkrr.
about these kind of things because I think it is necessary for humanity to understand.
Yes, greetings, Takur. This is Guru Dan. How are you?
Thank you. I am wonderful. And yourself?
I am well, thank you. I have some questions from some of the people in the side chat here.
Yes.
Alex is wanting to know if she has met you somewhere in some kind of experience, and if she has two hybrid children. I kind of know that's a little off topic, but she's being really connected to a couple of hybrid children. She's wondering if they're hers. Just really quick.
They are hers, yes. They are hers, and we will talk about that later. But yes, I have met her a couple times at the colonies. And she is in the telepathic area. She works in the telepathic area, and she has a download of galactic languages, and that is all I can say for now.
Okay, I have a question from Casey. Casey's wondering if we have lives from a certain species, does that align with the DNA infusions that you receive, or is it more random? Like, I know, can I ask to receive them? Is it limited? Just wondering if there's a connection between certain lives.
Yes, it would seem that it would appear that in many cases, a past life experience will bring some of that DNA to the next life and help in that way a little bit, just because the humanity is so fertile and can bring that with it. Not all species can bring humanity to their culture, but humanity can bring other species to its culture. Now, it is not random. There's no way for it to become random. They have had to have some kind of contact with it in some way for it to be there at all. It's not random. Randomness happens very rarely, only in chaotic fields, and in chaotic understandings, and in energies that cannot align. So that is the only time that it can happen, that it's random.
Okay.
What was the other part of the question?
Well, Casey's also wondering if she can know what she's aligned with, what she has already, her I don't know, percentages of DNA, perhaps, if that information is possible right now, or if she needs to get a scan.
Casey is in the system, and she does have Yahyel at about 5%, which is fairly high. Pleiadian at 2%, and Gwekawat. A touch of Arcturian in there that it's detectable, but it's only about 1%. What is the next question? Or is it time for you to go?
No, there are a couple more questions if we have the time to get to them. A question from Sandy in your room there. Sandy wants to know what DNA species she has in her body, if she's in the system, what percentages they are.
Ah, very good. Right now you have a 4% Arcturian, which is very high. And you have rhythm. That's not it. There is some others. You have some Sirian within you as well. About 2.5% Sirian. These are very high spiritual languages, very high activation in the brains. You can understand abstract thought patterns very easily.
DNA infusions would be helpful for me.
You would need more grounding ones now. To
my body could use more immunity. That's one thing.
yes, and that would be a more grounding one. Yahyel would be a perfect one for you to take next, because what is happening with her is that she has high understanding of what the abilities of the brain are in very abstract ways. She understands very much of spirituality in ways that other people cannot conceive. Her perspective of it is a little broader, a little bit more in depth, and has a perspective of creativity to it that not all people looking into spirituality have. But the body, she says, can use some work. And that is part of living in the abstract, is that the body does suffer. So Yahyel would be a perfect complement to those two high spiritual species. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗧𝗏. What is the next question?
Greetings, Tekkrr.
Okay, I don't think he's done.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Oh, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead, Rowie. Thank you, Takur, for everything. We'll talk more later.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Tekkrr, and everybody. We've been listening a lot about how the DNA benefits the humans coming from our star brothers and sisters. What I would like to ask you to Tekkrr is about DNA exchange on the other end. What are the benefits of human DNA to Girk Fitneer and the others involved in the hybridization programs?
I touched on this a little bit. However, that is an excellent question. The universe benefits greatly by the infusions. Like I said, on both sides, immunity is increased. On both sides, understanding increases, and more availability of understanding and perceptiveness from the other cultures. It's interactive. We benefit in the same way you do in many ways. Also, with the one thing that benefits us the most as a whole is the immunity or the immune system and the emotional interactions, the emotional addition to what we already feel. Emotional additions in the sense that they are stronger, more relevant, and more balanced. It's balancing both the emotion systems in both alien, if you will, and humanity. And it's strengthening the creativity aspects of those who are receiving human DNA, because humans think in such a different way than aliens. It increases perception and creativity.
So does any of this go towards the sixth hybrid race?
Of course.
And what's the involvement of Girk Fitneer in that?
And we are not involved with them directly. However, they are very, very happy about what is happening. They are very thrilled. And they are going to become more a part of that. I could tell you more, except that at this point, that information is not about to be divulged because of protocol.
I understand.
Different kinds of protocol that they have in place, and we have in place as well. So, but protocol does have something to do with how much information I can share about them.
Wonderful. Blessings, Tekkrr. Thank you very much for answering those questions.
Not a problem.
I have a quick question. Do they have a name besides the sixth hybrid race? I think that's a little impersonal.
It is a little impersonal, but it also keeps It also keeps them neutral in the sense that they do not want to seem like they are bragging.
Gotcha.
They do not want to call themselves what they have been named because they feel that it is a little overwhelming, a little what you call over the top. And so they go with the sixth hybrid species, and they have a greater name than that, and it's a very spiritual name, but they would rather do that and be accepted and not held in a great esteem. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. They could make up something. To
Yeah.
Tekkrr, Laura had a question. I know you touched upon this, but she wanted to know which infusions help balance the emotions and the mind, um, and enhance the
Yes.
connection with the healing abilities.
Excellent question. Excellent question. They all enhance healing abilities because the infusions all seem to affect the immune system in one way or another, and it's always seemingly positive. However, for balance, that would be Yahyel. They are closest to human in many ways, and therefore they enhance the balance in many ways and enhance grounding. So that is why I suggested it to those who have very high spiritual uh, species within them, that Yahyel would be very grounding and very, very helpful in those areas.
Okay, I believe Johannes had another question. Are you there?
Hello. Yakawati. Wuha. Wuha.
Sorry for the delay.
It is all right.
Thank you. My question, Hans, he had just a request. He had a question about how many percent he has alien DNA and what he has. Because he says that he was infused with gray, and yesterday he said that maybe it's a mouse species too. So he wanted to know what percentage he has of, for example, grays or.
His infusions seem to be all in the gray area. He does have a little reptilian in him as well. He has 4% Yahyel, 4% Zeta Gray, and 2% reptilian of the Zespod type.
Does he have any hybrid children?
Also, I see, not at this time, but if he wants some, we can fix that.
Do I have any hybrid children?
Actually, you do. You have one.
Can I have a name?
It is a boy. We would like you to give it a name, but his name so far, he is named Zed.
Okay. One last question. Do I need meat, or can I continue to not eat meat because I don't?
One moment. It does not seem to be affecting you in an adverse way. However, once a week might be all that you need. Unless you totally abhor it, and that's psychologically damaging, and we would not want that. All of you that I spoke to about eating meat, if you abhor the very thought of it, then it is not for you, because it's psychologically damaging. And you would not want to psychologically damage yourself, because that also affects your health. Continue.
Yeah, I feel that not eating meat is helping me, so I'm not afraid of not helping me. So thank you, Tekkrr, a lot for everything you do, and love you so much. Thank you.
Love you as well, and be healthy. Yes.
At this moment, Takur, I would like to check on Jim, make sure he's not tired or thirsty. And if anyone in the room with you has any last questions, they're welcome to ask before we
There
let
is a
Takur
question
go.
in the room. There is a question in the room.
Okay.
One moment.
Tekkrr,
Speak into
what
you.
percentage of DNA do I have in my body?
Of what thing? You have more than one.
Yeah.
You have a touch of reptilian, as you knew, and that is about 2%. You have Yahyel, which is about 3%. And you have Pleiadian, which is about 2% also. Very good. There are, many of you have gray within you as well, but it can be camouflaged. Unless I'm actually looking for it, I can sometimes miss it. I did miss it in one of the people that I did just tell them who they... Gray can be hidden sometimes. But that is all right. Once I'm looking for it, I can see it.
Takur, Barbara, which she was here before, had typed in an excellent question. I want to read it to you. She said, I was watching one of the videos here and I believe that it was the Elohim that mentioned talking to your own DNA. If I were to do that, would it be possible to change things like the shape of my mouth and other body parts? And I would also like some help with increasing self-confidence and motivation.
Let me put it this way about that. When you talk to your DNA, which is possible, your DNA does have a consciousness of its own, because otherwise it could not have developed the being that is within you. So there is a consciousness within the DNA. However, your features and your body are pretty much set in stone in the sense that that part of the DNA was set even before you were born. You were developing it as you were growing, and it is pretty much set. Now, there are portions in the brain that can actually regrow body parts and things of that nature. If you had the belief system to change that your looks, which is the shapeshifter portion of your DNA, if you could access that, you could change many things, yes. But on Earth, it's I do not know of anyone that is available or in of their brain yet, because it is in immaturity at this time. That portion of the brain is still immature.
Yeah, you know, it's
and you
funny.
understand that with evolution, it will become more and more mature as each generation comes. However, right now it is immature.
When you speak of people having 4% or 2% of this or that, is the rest human, or is this a stupid question? Is the rest human, or?
It's part of the 100% that's human. Yes.
And the rest is human.
Correct. Now, if there's additions, let me explain that. If there's additional infusion added, you say, how can you add to 100%? The addition is part of the 100%, because then you have a new guideline to go by. You see, if you add information to the DNA that becomes part of the DNA, then that is part of the 100% of your DNA. It is just like saying, as the flower grows, it gets bigger and bigger. It's still 100% at an inch tall, and it's still 100% at 5 inches tall. So when you add DNA, you are not really adding to your DNA. You are just combining it with what is there to make the full percentage of what is there now. Does that make sense to you? It's a merge, exactly.
It's just like you spoke of with the muscles hands. you're not growing more muscle cells. Your muscles are taking on more water, so they're coming more firmer, stronger
Correct.
as a result of the DNA.
Exactly.
So it's not more muscle cells. It's
Exactly. 100% is 100%. And if we add to your DNA, there can't be 110% DNA. It is just all together, and it is all one. So that makes 100%. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Did I explain that well enough?
So that's in
Continue.
that's adding to the 100%. That's not 100% plus.
No. 100% plus does not exist.
Exactly.
When you add to the 100%, then that 100% becomes different. If 99 was 100%, and you added 1 to it, it would still be 100%.
But in the past, some of the people that have gotten DNA infusions, that wasn't the way it was done, right?
I'm not sure. Yes, it is. It's given to them, it's added to them, and there's no extra. It all combines together to be one. And so it's not like saying, okay, there's 100% of human DNA, and over here there's 10% of other things. No, it all combines together to be the 100%. Because without it, it would still be 100%. But with it, it is still 100%.
Right, but you had mentioned to me that let's say like some of the ones that I had got done in the past were done differently than how Girk Fitneer does it.
Yes, it still doesn't matter. They do it differently. However, it still becomes integrated. It still becomes part of the 100%.
Right. Yeah.
We should discontinue for now. And if you would like to have another session about this DNA and hybridization, then that would be your choice. Did you have something?
I have lots of questions, but maybe another time.
It is seemingly getting late.
Yes.
And I would not want to hold you back from many things. And so much love to you, and I hope that you learned a great deal today. It is my greatest excitement to speak to you about many things, to help you grow and to understand what wonderful things are in store for you in the future and for your species. And I would love to be part of these kind of conversations once again, and I am so excited. As my voice goes up, as you hear, that means that I am excited because
I want to thank you, Tekkrr. You come into all of us, and certainly in my readings and help the other night with my daughter. Thank you for the time, the enormous amount of heart you have and passion. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you all. I love you all, and I assist as much as I can.
We love you too, Tekkrr.
Thank you, Tekkrr, for coming
Much love.
and explaining.
Namaste.
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 And I want to thank those who have been interactive and helped me with my understanding and explanations as well. And thank you very much. I am somewhat limited with your scientific terms, and I appreciate the help. Much love.
Okay.
Namaste.
Much love. Namaste, Tekkrr.
Thank you, Tekkrr. Much love.
So we had a lot of questions today, guys. I know there was a lot of questions asked, and I hope they're all addressed. I'm sorry if we didn't address anybody's that did ask in the chats and the hangouts. We had a lot today, so thank you for bearing with us.
Yes, and that baby is just too cute.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Jim.
How is everybody?
Welcome back. You're good. She pretty much addressed
I'm good.
everything. So I hope
Tekkrr was in rare form today. She was very excited, so she just wanted to keep going.
I think we should do an A2, do a DNA3. This is an endless, wonderful discussion.
Did everybody get a lot out of that?
Yes, most
Yes,
definitely. I mean,
I
all the
believe
questions.
so. I think
Sorry.
people are going to have to re-listen
Yeah.
because there's a lot of information that was given. So
She has a lot of information to give. So anyway, I'm glad that all of you are here, and I feel a really wonderful energy today. I knew that it was probably going to go long today because she said to me before we started today, she goes, "There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions." She said that like 5 times. So I knew there was a lot of questions.
It's instrumental for the consciousness and opening the DNA.
Uh-huh.
May I
Very
say
good.
hello?
Excellent. Hello, who is this?
Maria. How are you, Jim?
Hi, Maria.
Much
Great.
love.
How are you?
Good, good.
Much
Thank
love
you.
to you too. You're welcome. I see a lot of different faces than when I started, so it's nice of you to go in and out and help each other to get a space on the front there. That's a wonderful, giving, and kind thing to do. So thank you for those who have done that. That's wonderful. And thank you for your hello. Did you have a question? Okay.
Are you asking me,
Sabrina,
Jim?
would you
No.
like to say some closing prayer? Yes. Is there anybody else that want to ask,
Stephen.
not ask a question, give a blessing?
Stephen.
Before prayers go, before we do blessings,
Yes.
may I say something?
Sure.
Okay, you're done.
Mm.
Your water, because you got the microphone.
Oh, here.
So what I would like to say is that for everyone who has DNA or feelings, these are your feelings. You're supposed to have these feelings. Allow yourself to have the feelings, whether they're coming from DNA infusions or whatever they are. They're a part of our human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Feel, be. It is absolutely okay to have those feelings.
Yeah.
And for you to be you. Everyone else is already taken, so you might as well be you.
I love that.
Thank you, Will, and thank you, Brian, for your answer.
Are you sure, Will?
I am absolutely sure. There is not another Sabrina out there at all.
Oh, I'm sure there's at least 5. No, I'm just teasing.
Oh my God.
I'm just teasing. There's nobody like Sabrina. We love you. And we love all of you that are coming. Who would like to say prayers today or closing blessings?
So we'll start with Stephen.
Thank you.
Stephen, and then who?
Me.
And then you'll go?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's me?
Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina, you handle it. All right, everybody. Time for final breath sleep.
Okay, Stephen.
Thank you all.
Finally, a webinar that we can relate to in many ways. And we can see the differences between all the different species, but we are so happy that it is explained how it is to benefit us all. And we are so happy to be able to be part of it, and we are so happy to contribute our own DNA to those people that would wish it. And we would love to be a part of who you are and gather that information within ourselves and give the information to you to become part of yourselves that is most loving and acceptable. Please be with us and help us to move forward with you. We are not a very outgoing species, so we need a little pushing sometimes to be alert to what you are saying and doing. Much love to you, and we hope to speak to you soon.
I think I'm next, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be a weirdest way of saying blessing, but that's how I start, always with chanting. Na ya 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 ya. Na ya 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 ya. La la ya 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 ya. Na ya 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 ya. Unamaya sanamaya shanaya ya. Unayana unaya ya 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 ya. Unata lanaya unaya ya. Unamaya unaya ya ya ya. Namaste.
That message was on 4 levels of understanding, and so therefore they will let you interpret it within yourselves. They are telling me now that those sounds and that message was in 4 dimensions, and 4 different types of message was brought to you in different ways. So just accept it.
Beautiful, Maria.
Thank you.
Katano kuri katario katano kiarana skuru kotulu kala kia tarianto kuru akari katanana kuru kala kioro kala tanono kuru kala kara kurun tarakario kuru kura kala karian kuru kara kariaka kuru karia konturu kuru karian taria katu kuru kala kara tarakaran toruru kuru araria aria kutun takariaka Kiuru kara nur kuru ananari kikiri okuran tari kukuru tuadade. Tarana no koru kakalala kunun tari kiki kiuru kutan tara kodot. Karakala nanari okutari kirin tikiri kikiti kiri akiata turu. Karana narari okuru adari no kuru tari. Karana no rua karia karun turu adade.
Your souls burn brightly with that of understanding, spirit, emotions, and intellect. Knowledge is feeding you, spirit is feeding you, and your own selves feed you as well, because you interact in a way that brings light and volumes of thought to each other. Connect together continuously and move forward in a way of understanding. Treat each other with love, even if your opinions differ. Treat each other with understanding and unconditional thought processes, even when there are things there that you do not relate to. You may say, I love you unconditionally, even though I do not agree with all of that which is within you, because that is the way of understanding goodness and unity, which you are now becoming a part of in a greater way. We love you. Become part of us, we become part of you, and you become part of each other.
Namaste. Thank you, Jim.
Namaste.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. It's been so informative, really has. So we've got a couple of announcements just to close with, and also our great appreciation. Thanks to everybody who attended, everybody at Jim's place, and of course, Jim, Sabrina, for all those lovely little extras there. Gabriel, fair play. Brilliant introduction video you did with Tekkrr and Jim recently. I just want to give you a big thanks for that one. That will now actually be the introduction video to every webinar event that we have with Jim here now. I can make that happen. Next weekend, the 18th of July, is a special webinar where Jim's not going to be here, so Kim is taking Jim's place. We just shift one letter and a big vibration, and we have the feminine beauty of Kim coming to join us, and also possible special guest as well. So we will let you know about that one when we go. So yeah, just to say as well, if we didn't get your questions done today, big sorry, but we'll get another one done because I know you want to get those questions asked. So, and also please ask Jim, get a private session with him if you need that. So thank you very much. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Thank you all.
Thank
and also,
you,
before you
everyone.
go,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, Rowie, is this your last week for a while?
It will be, yeah. Yeah, I'm off festivaling and doing...
I just want to say a nice bon voyage for Rowie. You're so helpful, loving, and understanding. We know that you won't be back till the end of August or somewhere in that time period, and we will miss you dearly. I love you so much.
Oh, blessings, Jim, and
Thank you
everybody.
for all you
Thank
do.
you. It's a pleasure, and it's an excitement of mine. So I go through this effortlessly with a lot of fun. So I enjoy it all being here. Thank you so much. Blessing.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for coming today, for participating in this webinar, which I think everybody got something out of it, and Tekkrr answer all the questions that everybody had. So I'm sorry we couldn't get to every possible question, but I try to pick all the ones that everybody would benefit from. So thank you again. Thank you, Jim, and everyone.
Oh, you're welcome.
And all the beings that were with us. Trying to pick the right word there.
Getting kind of busy.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tekkrr.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope everybody got something out of it.
Yes.
She was
Yeah,
very
Yes,
excited to speak.
have a great next Saturday off,
very
Jim. Enjoy your Saturday off next week.
Yes, I'm going to the spa.
Ooh, nice.
Somebody invited me to go get a Watsu massage. Do you know what a Watsu massage is?
Can you
It's
say
in
that?
Acupuncture, I think. WATSU, the Watsu massage.
Right.
So I could not pass that up. So someone's coming in from California to do this program, and everybody will get a Watsu massage. So I'm going to that. I'm sorry, I won't be here getting a Watsu massage. So
on that note, guys, we're going to end the broadcast. So thanks a lot. Please say goodbye. If you want to say goodbye now. So we'll see you
Bye,
next
everybody. Love you
Ciao,
all.
ciao.
okay. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye.